Well, this either looks like a war zone or a tornado site. I guess more like a tornado. I'll show you. A lot of people last year thought I should give this camper to someone who needs it. Well, that would have been unkind. They were, see, there's no insulation here, and mice had been living in here, and I pulled out a lot of food and nuts, and here's some seeds, different kinds of seeds. There was corn and there was some other grain I can't recognize. And look at the flooring. That's the original floorboard. And then the previous owners had just tossed on some plywood sheets on top of that, which is no wonder why the floor creaked. There was no framing left under the couch area at all. Funny enough, where my wood stove was, no framing. Although they did have 3 sheets of plywood built up on there, so it was held up by something. The framing under the couch, I don't know if that's original. 2x4s I've never seen. I think they added that because they had the couch out, I could tell, and rebuilt everything here with junk. It was all scraps, little bits and pieces of plywood. It was an ugly mess. Well, if it stops raining, it's raining now, and it wasn't supposed to according to the weather, I would have this done. Here you can see there were chipmunks. I know it was chipmunks because I saw the guy come out looking in confusion at his home. I've destroyed his home. Underneath my flooring, it's disgusting. And there were ants, all kinds of ants in here. So it was not fit for living anymore. No way. I mean, the rot extends. This is all the way up to the wheel well, more than halfway across the camper, and the floor was rotted to nothingness. Well, it's raining, so I'm gonna get my camera in out of the weather. Morning, or good afternoon. This is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Looking at my ex-off-grid camper. Now, it's not much more than a frame. Didn't do much video today because my neighbor was here stripping out aluminum. He's taking away all the aluminum and garbage. Therefore, I'm bagging all the fiberglass insulation and filth, and he's going to take it away. That's the deal. This whole pile here, right here, just this right here, is non-burnable and recyclable material. So he's taking it to the dump in garbage bags. He spent the day ripping at the roof so far. Well, the first half of the day, he's done for the day. And tomorrow he's going to come back and finish getting all the metal out of there. And I spent the morning clearing off this trailer frame so far, and discovered to my dismay that there is sewage in the blackwater tank, which is disgusting. I think that maybe rainwater had been getting in there because it is, I didn't leave it like that. I wasn't using it. I think water had filled that up and then mixed with the sludge that was left behind. That's gonna be fun to dispose of. So I'm rolling this plastic up, which is, by the way, going to be used on my garden walkways. I decided that's a perfect use for that. I'll roll it up and take it over there. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the frame. The frame is actually pretty clean. It's not bad at all, except that sadly it got bent. Well, I knew that was bent from day one. That was the original step up into the camper, and it never worked because it had been bent. I think they treated this a little bit roughly when they used it. The actual tongue of the trailer is solid bar metal. I cannot believe that's a solid piece of metal. I'm quite amazed that that is just a solid bar metal. So that's pretty surprising there. The extensions are fine on the front. On the back side, the extensions are good. This one, like I said, is bent. This one's good. But there's a couple, well, I'll finish stripping this out and we'll see. But there's a couple here and there that are bent. Right here, this one was bent. And that one was bent. Both stair steps were bent. I don't know what these guys did, Well, they weren't big people, so I don't know what would happen here. Well, anyway, I'm going to finish stripping this off the rest of the way here, and I'll let you watch the last of the unveiling of the trailer frame. Most of the demolition was done with nothing but an old claw hammer on this whole camper. It rained on and off today as well, so that's another reason I didn't record much, sadly. Come off. I think it's glued on. What's giving me trouble is the sewage, the lip on the sewage tank for the toilet. Never could get that off. That unscrews. on. Here I thought I had it all done. I'll pause the camera for this. Unscrew the slip. There it is. Oh. The frame itself looks good. The extensions that held the sidewalls, or some of them are bent, and that's bad. So I'm not sure about that. This one's bent. This one's bent. So you can see the worst damage in the camper was in the back section where the walls had sagged below the sides of the trailer frame. All of these here in the back were bent. That's not good. But I do have a massive heavy duty bumper here, which I can use. Oh, look at that. I never knew. All this time I've had this camper, I never knew there was storage in the bumper. There's stuff in there. So cool. I gotta see what's in there. There's an old knife. I'm gonna have to check that out. I never knew there was storage in a bumper. That is funny. Hidden treasure. I'll have to check that later. So the sewage tank has some sludge in it. Disgusting. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. That has to come out before I can drop the tank. I am taking all the tanks off this. I will not be using any of the onboard tanks in the trailer itself. I'm going to be having underground water storage later and external tanks. So these are coming out and that'll give me more room for my framing. Now I'm wondering if I want to go to save height on this trailer. This looks like a 6-inch thick frame, which means I could put, look at this. He's now homeless. They're cute little buggers. He's eating the food that I knocked out of his nest. That was his nest that I destroyed here. He's a nervous guy. Of course, he sure doesn't seem afraid of me. I'm sitting here talking and recording and beating on stuff, and he doesn't mind me at all. See, if you live in nature like this, the animals, they accept you and they ignore you with time. They learn to coexist with you. And all the people talking about coexisting with nature, I don't know if they really know what they're talking about. You know, nature will accept you. Just like the pioneers, I've read stories about the pioneers where the animals didn't mind them at all. But sometimes you don't want nature to coexist with you, like this was living in my camper floor, and that's not exactly desirable. Checking out the frame here. There's a lot of flicks to this frame. Surprised. But everything seems pretty good. The frame itself is solid. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I wonder if I can put the 2x6s, use the framing, and have this be my floor level right here. The level of my floor right here. And have my 2x6s dropped below and inside this, running back and forth inside this. Problem is I want to extend beyond this a bit, so I'd have to somehow figure a way to extend outwards, and I don't know how I would do that with 2x6s and still be rigid. The other idea is to put my 2x6 boards on top of the trailer frame and build my house like that. Now when the house is stationary, I will have jacks underneath the outer wall all along. So the only time this would ever have all the weight of the walls on the outside edges of the walls is when I was driving. So I think that would be acceptable. And I have seen one other person used a 32-foot camper to build his 10x24 house on. Exactly what I'm doing. It has been done before. He did it. He had a camper frame that looked just like this, and he did it. So it can be done. So yeah, I could use double 2x6s every second beam. I could double up on the 2x6s for extra strength. Definitely would add support. So, well, there's this frame. Now it's raining on and off. I wanted to paint this thing, but that isn't going to happen. So I think what I'll do now is cut these pipes and drop these tanks and expose the frame completely. Get rid of this old gas pipeline that's on here and strip everything off. I'm not going to have anything on here, no wires, no nothing. Strip it down to the bare metal, and then I'm probably going to run a wire brush along this thing before I paint it. But look, it's not bad. Considering how wet that flooring was inside, that plastic sheet protected the frame very nicely. Not bad at all. So I've got a good basis to work with, I think. Well, it's lunchtime, so that's it for now.